오야 다야 치루 강가 자시데레 tani 강가 devote kiwoya boyo rewayo.
First of all, Tashidele, greetings to all my Dharma friends. I hope that you are well and I hope that you are happy.
아니 다 드린 안조 로르 시도 로르 이님이 자라 좀봐 가신도 사와레스. 아니 다 드리 가 침보치라. 아니 로르가 눈에 다 덴바지 냐츠 드리 드레스 냐츠.
So today we will continue with this sequence of the Lam Rim, or the stages of the path segments. We've already covered a few of the topics, so today's topic from the Lam Rim will be the presentation of the four Arya truths, or the four noble truths.
아니 당한조 코티야 가르세 가르다라 리라오 고데오 가제 테토트니 바 아니 디세셔라 메케지나레 시히나요 보이가. So
Geshe will, in these beginning stages, as much as possible, explain these in a way that is easy to understand, in a way that is easy to understand for those perhaps who don't have so much time and so forth.
아니 다 들리디야 들리게 디세 두두지레 되네 디거드네 버게 신다고 신내라 강가 로로 쓰는 셀바 바자야 보도 세계에데 다시 시토야 되네 와 침보치요스.
So even though it is a short time, Geshe hopes that through this short session what can happen is that good imprints, good seeds can be planted within the mind, and on the basis of this, positive mental qualities will eventually be able to be brought forth.
아니 당가로서 소소소년에 자침보 소소더니 어다 야 그냥 대다 데려와서 가지 더 자침보 지금이네 저거요나 다 덴바지데 로존도 열에 마셔 다 매바다고 지래디 알았어.
So in terms of yourself, right, in terms of the I, or in terms of yourself, if you really see yourself as something important, if you really see yourself as something precious and you want welfare for yourself, if you truly comprehend that, then it would really be impossible to neglect the study and practice of the Four Noble Truths. You absolutely need those.
다 나주 계약했더니 대시세야 아니 드토간디시야 자카리야 주카리야 마르스 대시 메바시키 그랬더니 그게 시엔다고 자카리야 주카리야
So what we need, if we want to be happy, we need to understand how to achieve that happiness by understanding what the causes of happiness are and what the result of happiness is. Similarly, we need to understand in terms of what is causing suffering, dissatisfaction, what the causes are, what the faults are, and what the results are of that.
아니 다저저 됐더니 야 그거들이 만드시 뜨는 것에 그야 이사더니 드니 야 마셔도 거절 만도 있어.
So Geshe will explain this from the point of view of the of meditation, actually, and so we will now begin a sequence of meditation.
럼바 동바들었더니 강의다 가디나 지바리 리도세 렐레치기 스타크야 소왕이 보동동에 바 주도 지금이스.
So first of all, as we always do, we will take a moment to put the body and the mind in a peaceful and a relaxed state. And if disturbing projections, if disturbing feelings, thoughts, and so forth are arising, we just don't pay them any mind.
순지롱기 깔라라 대마 시바샤 세네 요반 뭐지 나로서 강에 그문디나 강에 티가 뭐도 뭐시고요.
So firstly, let's reflect upon the Buddha's statement. Suffering should be known. If we want to be free of a problem, we first need to understand the nature of that problem.
알아서 뭐 지금 능아치 능아충충 고코네 때문에 와서 다시 주주지네 때된다 봐도.
Up until now, what we've been doing is just looking at that one type of suffering, the suffering of suffering, and we've been completely immersed in just trying to get rid of that.
대존지 던로이나요.
But even the animals are able to recognize that coarser type of suffering. And if we only devote energy to trying to get rid of that, we will not achieve a lasting benefit.
제고도 또이 강에도 각 제고도 이 강에 레비가 칼라사게야 각공비가를 주투게야 더노기 좋아하고 대할래요.
The suffering of suffering is not such an incredible thing to comprehend, because in terms of when we are hungry, knowing that we should eat food, when we are thirsty, knowing that we should take something to drink, this is a knowledge that even those in the animal realm have.
지 드마 세는 사체가 저와 대화 가로서 대화 통화대학 에서 간지나요. 대화 때문에도 시대면에 들으면 가로서 들리지는 거 그래 되듯이.
Similarly, in terms of the suffering of change, those things that we think bring happiness, those outer things that we think bring happiness, none of them are lasting. They cannot bring a lasting happiness. They are not stable causes of happiness.
대대왕이네 마이바 깡깡의 로지지 임바데 이니면자 노와이 그건데 셔로비고 대 등하고 로지 바통됐어.
So in terms of these contaminated types of happiness, they are not a true happiness. And so the fact that these contaminated types of happiness are actually in the nature of suffering, it's not just Buddhists that are holding this, but also many holders of other traditions. So in terms of saying suffering that should be, when the Buddha said suffering should be known, in terms of that suffering that we're talking about, the suffering of samsara, it is not arising primarily from a cause that is outside, it is arising from the inner cause, from our own 5 aggregates.
대강의 그루지 연바데 조조 콜레도 냐무니 그걸 그거는 너무 때문에 매바이다. 코까지 때문에 대바이나 가디히나요. 아니 되고 줘야만 됐어.
So because those 5 aggregates are arising due to karma and affliction, they cannot be the cause of happiness as long as we remain in the state of these 5 aggregates arising due to karma and affliction. We will always have to meet with suffering.
니네 강에 그거 문제나 다 대모시 바시네 대 전이바 근주봉화샤 깔아로 여바 누지 근주 레지 근주 레냐바 냐무비 근주 냐무 다 대니메 바샤 레간 지거데스.
So if we really don't want to experience that suffering, then we need to think about the second of the 4 Noble Truths, which is true origins. We need to be free of that suffering, so we must be free of the origins of that suffering. And in terms of the origins of that suffering, what we need to abandon is unwholesome or negative karma. And we also need to be able to get rid of unwholesome minds or the afflictions. And in terms of these 2, karma and affliction, karma is not the main one. In fact, it is the afflictions or the unwholesome minds that are the main one. Ignorance grasping at the self, then giving rise to attachment, aversion, and so forth. Right? These are the main causes of our suffering, these afflicted, unwholesome minds. If we really want to experience real peace and happiness, then we must know and meditate upon true paths. So this is the third of the four noble truths, true paths. So in terms of entering the true path, we haven't yet been able to enter the true path, but we can practice something like that, which is actually the practice of the three trainings. And we have the opportunity, on the basis of this human rebirth that we have right now, to engage well with these three trainings. So, in terms of the first of these three trainings, the first of these is training in the practice of ethics, which means to take the actions of our body, speech, and mind and avoid the 10 non-virtuous actions or the 10 unwholesome actions. Similarly, it means to ethically engage in the practice of what is positive, the 10 virtuous actions, and so forth. If we are able to do this successfully, then so many of the negative thoughts and feelings that we experience, they will be able to dissolve, just like clouds being swept away in the sky. The mind will be happy, the body will be healthy and at ease. These are the results if one is able to, for example, engage in the 10 wholesome and the 10 virtuous actions. So the next is of these three trainings is the training in concentration, which is to take the mind and focus it on a virtuous object of focus. For example, a positive mental quality such as love and compassion. If one is able to concentrate single-pointedly on a wholesome object of meditation, then many of the manifest, the stronger afflictions, they won't actually be able to arise in the mind. And in terms of other practices like impermanence, emptiness, and selflessness, in terms of these objects of focus and meditation, they are even more powerful in being able to clear that away.
chobi to the chilluina college, Shandogarawas Chaba.
So on the basis of using concentration to focus on these positive objects in meditation, then as we said, the manifest afflictions will be dissolved. The manifest afflictions as well as their results, negative feelings, projections and so forth. They will be dissolved away, just like an ice cube dissolves in warm water.
Basamba Shiragalava Mutaba Tupishira Tunya Tupishira that is cell levaina, so a tempus shumaina, cell Nidashava Nujutnipa Savato Kibuchaji.
So the third of these three trainings is the training in wisdom. So it can be something like the wisdom realizing impermanence, the wisdom realizing emptiness, and so forth. If we are able to bring these forth in the mind in a stable way, it will clear away darkness just like the sun emerging in the sky.
Nyamogri Kandiji Nayo Koros Zimatum Korosons Zimatum Yaita Korosole Kamero.
Any type of affliction or negative mind that we can think of, because this wisdom is going to see that the basis of that affliction is something mistaken, is something false, we will be able to dissipate it, to clear it away completely.
Koinyoda Kandiji Nayo Jado Jiban Kangakondo Yaitang Gude Sato.
And on this basis, then, all of the problems in samsara, the causes of those problems, can be completely stopped or ceased. And so we come to the last of these four truths, true cessations.
And
if we are able to do that, then we will have achieved one of the main purposes of this precious human rebirth. If you were able to achieve that, think about the happiness one would experience. Think about how amazing that is. On the basis of realizing this, then until we achieve the final result of Buddhahood, wherever we end up, it will be through our own decision, through our own choice. We'll be able to decide where to go.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll pause there.
Oh, that did yes, Tani. Oh, that Dembaji in the Minanule, Dembo Chetobaina. Oh, that Ledonyamol Romoto, that dishing in it, Teres.
So this was the brief presentation. If we are able to study and practice these Four Noble Truths properly, then we will be able to clear away both karma and affliction, and then we see how that true happiness can come about.
Ani gavi ngone ki wochine phage thawate stem bos shisa sona ani mi kale mebe to ni ki wochu chine ndo thwa ne se chire khwal debi kale kaniki bores.
And if we are able to cultivate these practices with a joyful and happy mind and bring forth a true feeling, an experience of these practice, then even while we remain in samsara, we will be able to go from happier situation to beneficial situation.
단다 지열더니 소소 nye 대질 펜바 대학인 대바지 요바 이나요 소소 때 뭐지 로메아 이자 아니 제도금도 와스 다 대바 요바 노지 근데 간다칼에 요바 저기로 와스.
Even those that are close to us, for example, other people that are close to us, we have the wish to help them, but we don't really have the capacity to help them. But once we achieve the happiness from realizing this, we will be in a situation where we can lead them in a more beneficial way. So that was a brief presentation of our topic today, and then slowly in the future, Geshe will go into more depth. Thanks very much.